Today was an interesting day. Yeah, at the time I'm recording this, the stock market just finished its best day in 16 years because Donald Trump announced that for 90 days he's pausing the reciprocal tariffs on every country that isn't China. His reasoning for this was because he wanted to focus on China, our top economic competitor, and it looks like other countries are willing to negotiate, especially the EU. That's who we've mostly heard from, but places like Vietnam have also offered zero for zero. We'll see how that goes. The markets really like that, and they jumped up almost 3,000 points, basically recovering most of the losses from the last couple weeks in fear of Trump's gigantic tariff proposals. Now, I'm going to be completely honest, this really changed the trajectory of what I was planning to do for this video because I was under the assumption that he was not going to bend on the tariffs because this seems to be something he really believes in and was going to ride to the bitter end, even though it was a very crazy thing that was poised to definitely get us into a recession. And I think he realized that, and that's why he moved off it a bit. I was going to explore three possibilities regarding the recession risk of this. And, well, it looks like the best case scenario is now the likeliest one because of this 90-day pause. Maybe. We'll see how how that goes. He makes decisions on a whim. So, as it stands at this current moment, China is now tariffed 125%, and they've tariffed us around that amount as well. And I expect this to continue. However, everyone else is only getting a baseline 10% tariff, and they're going to negotiate in the next 90 days. So, my guess is the reciprocal tariffs will probably not maintain even once the 90 days are over. So, the worst case scenario has been averted, and I guess Wall Street was, well, they were correct in thinking Trump wouldn't hold on to it once he realized the gravity of it. But there are still outcomes to consider. Now, one good thing is, of course, the world is not getting like crazy tariffs by the US. A lot of people were panicking about the Nintendo Switch 2. That's probably going to be fine now. Or maybe not. Nintendo's greedy. Maybe they'll raise that up even more. But the thing that is now really present is that Trump is going to a big trade war with China. He is maintaining this 125% on China, so they're more tariff than they were before this even began, but everything else was weighed down. So, what does this mean? Well, if we're being completely honest, it still is going to provide turbulence for the economy. It's not going to be depression. I didn't even think it was going to be a depression even with the original tariffs. I thought a recession was imminent, but now I do not believe a recession is as imminent as it was before, though it's still a coin flip. So I have the three outcomes that I have of this is there is my copium prediction, which ended up kind of coming true. There's my hopium prediction, and then there's the realistic. So the copium prediction right now is, well, the US and China, they continue this for a while, but eventually it kind of fizzles out. Both economies are too big to fail, but they'll eventually come to some form of agreement. Maybe manufacturing incentives will arise. Maybe Trump will soften them and Xi will soften his. They'll kind of just slowly forget about it once they realize, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this to our economies. Uh, but again, that's you can understand why I'm calling this the copium prediction because that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Neither Trump or Xi are they're not really known for stuff like that. So no, I think this is actually really unlikely. Now, my hopium prediction is, well, this is going to rattle the market some more over the next year. This is going to create a lot of shock waves for the economy, And I think a recession is maybe going to happen, though it is going to be minor. And when I say minor, it's probably going to last for 6 months, and it'll probably begin at the end of this year, either in the third or fourth quarter, and then end before summer 2026. That's the hoping prediction, and that's the best case scenario. I think at that point, what would happen is the markets will maybe adjust, but there's going to be a lot of changes that are not going to be good for either America or China, and people in America, the country that's, that has, where the leader has to answer to voters. I think that's not going to be good for Republicans with Trump doing that. Do I think it'll be a blue wave in 2026? The Democratic Party is, well, they are very, very good at pulling Republicans out of the ditch. So never put it past Democrats to blow it. I also just don't think America is in a wave election mood. Everyone is partisan, so I don't know, but it's not going to be good for Republicans. It's definitely, they're not going to like the electoral outcome. But yeah, that would be the economic situation if that were the case. Now, realistically, let's be completely honest. 125% tariffs on China, where we get a lot of our goods from, that's going to cause a lot of price hikes. It will help that we're going to potentially have not as bad relationships with other countries, but I do think that there is going to be short-term suffering from this. I think that the economy is going to have a lot of tests, and I think that barring some unprecedented thing, I do think that a recession is definitely on the cards. And I've been thinking this even before the election. I don't think the US economy is in a state where it can really avoid a recession. It felt like we were entering one in 2024, and this is going to definitely help us get there. So I think a recession is likely. I don't think a recession happening in the summer, especially because of Trump weighing off the tariffs a bit, is realistic. I don't think that's going to happen, but at the end of the year, it's likely when it'll happen, maybe early 2026. I'm not too sure, but it's going to be in that ballpark. I don't think that the US economy can sustain a big trade war with China. And again, Trump and Xi are going to really go at it in this. They're going to raise tariffs. I expect them to do this quite a few times. And honestly, whoever comes out on top, well, it all comes down to how the markets work, how the economy operates following this. There's just a lot of things to consider. Again, the United States is not really as big a manufacturing economy as the economy that is literally basically just a manufacturing economy. That's why China has everything that we get from China is relatively cheap because of that. Now, Trump, of course, wants to change this, but first off, blanket tariffs are not the way to do that. He should have, made them manufacturing based, looked at incentives, stuff like that. But if for some reason we're able to see a spike in manufacturing, then perhaps a recession will not, it won't be as hard hitting, but it's hard to see a case where from now to 2027 a recession doesn't happen. I really feel like it's a matter of when, not if anymore. So, yeah, it's definitely a better situation than we were in, just 24 hours ago. But again, we were looking at, I don't think we're not getting a Great Depression. Everyone was panicking telling you that. Uh, I don't think a Great Recession was on the cards either, but I did think a recession was imminent, and it was not going to be a recession that was moderate or lasting for a short amount of time. I expected it to last relatively long, like 6 months or so. Now, I think if we get a recession, it'll probably last 3 or 4 months. And I think that the economy is in a better position, but Brace yourself for anything, because again, there's so much uncertainty, and yeah, America and China are in a race to see who can destabilize the world economy the quickest. So we'll see who wins that race.